Join me, Lou Diamond, on a new podcast show called Why They Listen, where I sit down with incredible leaders and communicators from different industries, unique platforms, and special programming from across the globe, and take a deeper dive into not only how they communicate, but how they connect and engage audiences, and why those audiences listen. You can find a new episode of Why They Listen wherever you listen to your podcasts, or at Aimcast, AIMECAST.com.
Hey, this is Nia, one of the interns here at Thrive Loud. I know you were expecting Lou to open another episode, but me and my fellow interns, Sophie, Jillian, and Gabby, had other plans. You see, we broke into the studio and hijacked this episode from Lou. So today, you'll get a chance to hear from the people that really make this podcast thrive. Listen in and learn all about us, what we are all about, and a truly engaging conversation about social media and its effect on the world we live in. Plus, you'll get to hear us make fun of Lou. I mean, come on, he's such an easy target. So sit back and relax as the Thrive Loud interns take over.
Get ready to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Hello, everybody. We are the Thrive Loud interns this semester, and we have officially taken over the podcast. But I am Sophie. Everybody, we can just introduce ourselves and just chat about whatever we want.
I'm Mia.
I'm Jillian.
I'm Gabby.
Okay. So everybody, we just got back from school. How have your breaks been going so far?
Pretty boring, to be honest. I haven't really left the house much.
Yeah, I haven't either. My mom tested positive for COVID, so I've been staying home.
Oh my gosh.
How long was that?
Like last week, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. She's doing well?
Yeah, she's fine. It's just not being able to do anything.
My gosh, that's crazy.
I've also been at home for 9 months now. Were any of you guys on campus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So everyone except for me. But I've been home for this whole semester, this summer. And I mean physically in the house. I've left the house. I go outside and I realize the seasons change. I went to the and I was like, oh, it's winter.
Oh my God.
That's what I've been up to. But now the semester's coming to a close, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I always thought I was such an extroverted person, and then quarantine hit, and it sounds so pathetic, but I love doing nothing. All my friends are, I'm so bored, they're all complaining, and I'm like, I have no problem staying in my house and just literally doing nothing all day. And I don't know what that says about me, but I love it.
I don't think it says anything crazy about you at all. I think we're all in this. Well, I'm in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also feel like we're never doing nothing. There's always something that you're doing, even if it feels like nothing. You're still thinking and learning and experiencing things, even if it's not as fast paced. And time you enjoy wasted isn't time wasted. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself when I waste time.
Totally. I also learned how to bake bread this past week, so that was kind of cool.
Oh.
From scratch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
What kind of bread did you make?
I made a French bread loaf.
Impressive.
It's pretty good.
But
I was in charge. Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I actually finally got permission to cook for Thanksgiving this year. My mom's always telling me that the only things I can, and she's not wrong, I can pretty much make eggs, pasta, the basics, but I cooked sweet potatoes. That's it. And it was really exciting. So that was my big debut in the kitchen. And I made slutty brownies, but I literally took a Toll House, those really big tubes of it. I used all of it. So they were the fattest brownies you have ever seen. Oh my gosh, they were so good.
This was also the first Thanksgiving where I cooked something for people. I went to Alaska and caught fish over the summer, and I had it all frozen. So I cooked all my friends halibut and salmon, and I felt really cool doing that because I'm like Sophie, I don't cook things besides eggs. So
That's huge. That's so cool that you caught the fish too.
yeah, I felt like Bear Grylls or something.
I have a few questions. You guys know how in the podcast, Lou at the end will like ask the interviewee a bunch of random questions. I wrote some down, so we'll go through them. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, just a few. Very basic. What is your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. What is my favorite movie? Okay, so Home Alone comes to mind right now because of the season, I guess. But that's like my favorite childhood movie. That works.
I don't think I've seen Home Alone ever, for being honest.
You've never seen
I was sort of stripped of proper childhood because my siblings are older than me. So by the time I was gonna see like the princess movies, they were already watching like Hannah Montana and everything like that, which is not a problem. Like, love all of those shows so much, but I've never seen Lion King. I've never seen like most princess. It's really sad. I've never seen like any princess movies.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, I never saw Lion King either. So.
Oh my gosh.
You're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I saw it on Broadway, but I never saw the movie.
You're actually the first person I think that's ever also not seen it. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What's your dream vacation destination?
Shouldn't take this long to think about. I don't know. I'm a pretty simple girl. Like, I just like my trips to the Caribbean and the palm trees and the sand, like anywhere like that. But I want to say like Bora Bora because like the little things on the ocean, like that's really cool. But it's not like I don't know. I don't have anything grandiose, I feel like, but just
Bora Bora is always my go-to answer.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
So outside the Caribbean, Bora Bora.
All right. Favorite season?
Favorite season, winter. I'm a Christmas.
Okay. Gotcha. So in honor of Lou, last question.
Okay.
You aren't thriving. What do you do?
Oh, when I'm not thriving, what do I do? Oh my God, this is going to be such a boring answer, but nothing, like nothing. Just lay in my bed. Oh, okay, I got it. When I'm not thriving, I am doing some form of like the corny self-care. I love just like lotioning and putting oils on and listening to music at the same time and like meditation routines. That's stuff that I feel like I get little time for during the semester. So if I'm not thriving and that's like ambitions and stuff, I'm doing nothing but taking care of myself. So it's kind of cheesy, but
all I do is watch TikToks. So you're better than me. Okay, Jillian, I'm gonna go through the questions with you. Favorite movie?
Oh God. I mean, I had all the time while Nia was answering to figure it out, but if
one of your favorites.
Napoleon Dynamite. I think I've watched that movie every year since it came out. And nothing happens in that movie, but yet so much happens at the same time. There isn't a plot, but yet it says so much about coming of age and whatever, and I really like the characters.
Dream vacation destination?
I don't know why. I've always really wanted to go to Turkey and hang out in Istanbul, go to the hot springs. They have like a cave city and a lot of ancient ruins and things like that. And I think it's really cool that it's the convergence of the East and West. And I don't think there's anywhere else like that.
Very good answer. Damn. Favorite season?
I feel like fall is the best because you get the best out of all of them. Because some days it might be a little summery, but sometimes it's a little wintry, but you also get a lot of colors, and I'm big into colors.
Okay, and most importantly, when you aren't thriving, what do you do?
I feel like I always find a reason to consider myself thriving, even if I'm not thriving in the normal sense. So even if things are going badly, I think I'm too much of an optimist to think that I'm not thriving. Even if I'm literally, I don't know, on my deathbed or something like that, I still find a way to make it positive, and it's all about perspective whether you're thriving or not. So I can't really think of, I don't know if I'm thriving right now, but I feel like I am.
Okay, then Gabby, last one. What is
Okay.
your favorite movie?
I don't think I have like one specific favorite movie, but one movie that I always like rewatch whenever I feel like I need something comforting is Sky High.
Mm.
Gosh, I love that movie.
I just think it's like such a wholesome movie, and I also just like really like superheroes and that kind of thing. And that was just like one of my favorite movies when I was little. So I always rewatch it if I need like a pick me up or just like to feel that childhood comfort.
You know, I definitely don't have a favorite movie either. I hate when people ask me that question. So I kind of feel bad that I'm asking it to you guys. But like I can never, it's like whenever I get asked like favorite movie, favorite TV show, I forget everything I've ever seen.
And you're like,
I'm like, I don't. And it feels like such a big deal too. Like no one cares if it's not actually my favorite movie. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing? It doesn't matter.
It's like when you're asked to share a fun fact about yourself and you forget everything you ever knew about yourself.
Oh my gosh, so true.
I was somewhere where they asked for a boring fact about yourself, and that was actually more difficult because I'm prepared for like a fun fact, but a boring fact, I was like, well, I had breakfast this morning. It was really hard.
that's pretty boring. I think it works.
Yeah.
You know, I prefer the boring facts because you can literally say anything. Like I have siblings.
Yeah. There's
No
pressure.
one.
Fun fact.
Yeah, because then what if it's not that fun?
Yeah.
You
And no
have
one
to, like-
ever is.
You have to like preface it and be like, sorry, I'm actually boring, but
Yeah, I feel like people always feel the need to like say something beforehand, like, okay, this might not be that fun, but like I'm just gonna say it anyway. And then there's always like the one person who has like actually the coolest fact ever, and no one can compare to that. But okay, moving on. Dream vacation destination.
ever since I was little, I like really wanted to go to Greece, and I was supposed to go to Greece this past summer, but then obviously COVID happened, so I couldn't go. But I think that's like the place that I most want to go, just because like the culture and like it's really pretty. Yeah, that's my dream vacation spot.
I've always wanted to go to Greece too. All right, favorite season.
I think I'd have to say spring is my favorite season, just because like it's kind of like the ending of the school year, and my birthday's in the spring. Yeah, I'm just a spring girl.
Okay, last but not least, when you aren't thriving, what do you do?
I think I'm kind of similar to Nia in what I do when I'm not thriving. I also really like to do like face masks and like light a little candle and just get cozy and watch TV or movies, like FaceTime my friends. I have a candle going right now, actually.
Yeah.
Also, I would also say self-care, because I think that's something that's really important, like helps you kind of get back to thriving.
Cool, very cool. Guys, we have to start roasting Lou a little bit. This has been very kind so far, considering we haven't really spoken about him at all, but more of just a comment. So I was going through his Instagram today to try to find like things I could make fun of. And his bio says that he's a former DJ. I don't really know what I have to say about that, but it was definitely surprising. I don't see it, but I'm really curious to hear some of his work now. I might have to ask about that, but that was
I'm
shocking.
not sure what kind of music he'd do. Would it be EDM or
Can you imagine?
There's some people that you can look at and you instantly know their taste in music, but he's not one of them. So that's why it's a problem.
I think that's interesting. I think we should go through and say what you think people's tastes in music are in this room right here, because I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know about this room, but there's some people that you see walking around and you just know.
I was going to say, you have a talent. She's like, when I look at people, I can know what they listen to.
I don't know about in this room, but yeah, just walking around, you just get just based on how people dress.
Yeah, sometimes there's definitely a vibe.
I feel like he's definitely like a Springsteen kind of guy, like older-ish men's music vibes. Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about that, though, is that he felt like it was an important enough accomplishment to have it in his Instagram bio.
Yeah.
Like former DJ, like no longer a DJ, but it was really important to him.
Just have to make sure everybody knows that I was at one point a DJ.
I guess I can picture him as like a bar mitzvah DJ, playing the hits and stuff, but they just sort of mix together I don't know, the only time I went to a bar mitzvah was in 2012, and the main song that they played at everything was Gangnam Style. So for some reason I see him like playing Gangnam Style at a bar mitzvah.
I feel like he would really vibe with that song. I just like can see him rocking out to that song, definitely.
I can see him like looking up the music video and learning to dance in advance to that song so that he can have it ready at the bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
The bio also noted that he's not a good golf player, and like that just makes so much sense to me. Like it just made, he's just, first of all, seems like the kind of dad that like plays golf, but also that isn't very good at it.
I feel like he's definitely like taken lessons to try and be a better golf player, and like he's like the type of person to practice but like still not be that good.
Okay. Have any of you guys been like watching anything interesting lately, reading anything interesting lately? Do we have anything to recommend to all the fans?
I just watched The Undoing on HBO Max. That show is crazy. It has some turns, has some twists.
Oh my God, my mom just finished that too. She said it's the craziest, best show. I need to watch it.
What's it about?
It's about a murder. It's like kind of a murder mystery. It like messes with your head. Like you don't know who did it until you find out, basically.
Have any of you guys seen Queen's Gambit?
That's what I was going to recommend.
I heard that one also, I heard is so good.
It's really good. I relate to it a lot too, because I don't know, I'm not an orphan or have a lot of what happened to her, but a lot of the things she did was really, really resonated with me, where she goes to Russia and battles these dudes in chess, because I did stuff on the international circuit in fencing, and we would go to Eastern Bloc countries, and I always had a hard time with Russians, and just her relationship with her mom, like traveling and their relationship at hotels and things like that. But it's such a like, I don't think you're supposed to relate to it, but I do, because I have like a weird situation.
Yeah, I also have been watching that, and I think it's really good.
I'm so bad at watching TV. I try so hard. I like have been watching the same show since I think July. I'm watching Entourage. It's so good, but I don't know what it is. I think I just have like the worst attention span in the entire world. Like I think that social media ruined my attention span completely. Like I can sometimes be watching a TikTok and I'm like, oh my God, they can only literally be a minute. Like they cannot be longer than a minute. And I'll be watching one and I'm like, it's been 30 seconds. Oh my God, I can't keep watching this. It's so bad.
Have you watched The Social Dilemma? I feel like we talked about that in our discussion group.
I'm like, yeah. Wait, okay. No, I know what you're talking about though. Lou told me to watch that actually. And so did my parents. I haven't, but I want to. You kind of just reminded me that I wanted to see that. Maybe I'll watch it soon.
While watching it, I felt like I couldn't look at my phone because it felt evil. But I feel like a lot of stuff like that, like Black Mirror and things like that, try to make it like phone equal bad. But they do try to give the benefits of social media and stuff like that. But I just feel really manipulated every time I use social media. Like, oh, it's in my brain. It's forcing me to look at ads, and I don't want to be subconsciously manipulated. And so I've been trying to get off social media, but it's so hard. And it's, And I edited the podcast for connecting to disconnect. And Crystal Washington was talking about how she could disconnect. And I feel like just turning my phone off and not looking at it again. But I can't. And I'm like, why can't I?
No, it's so sad. And like, I'm totally aware of the problem. Like, I know the amount I'm on my phone is gross. Like, I know it's way too much, especially now. Like, I don't know what else to do. And also, it's funny because I'm not even like, I hate FaceTime. I don't know if you guys are into FaceTime. I hate FaceTime. Like, I will find any excuse not to FaceTime. It's not even like I'm having long conversations with people. I mean, I'll text people, but it's literally just social media. And it gets so boring, and I'll be on it and I'm like, oh my God, like there's nothing new. I'll be refreshing. And I know that there's nothing there. And I'll just like somehow find a way to stay on it for so long.
I haven't watched The Social Dilemma, but it's definitely of interest to me. And it's one of those things, I don't watch anything. Like I don't watch TV. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a weirdo in that respect. But just the concept to me, how you could, and I'm sure we're all guilty of it to some degree, but like be trapped on social media and know nothing new is coming. Nothing's gonna make your day better. It's not like, it doesn't make you feel good, but you're just there. And like you said, you can refresh and know nothing new is gonna pop up, but I'd rather do that than talk to someone I love. Like damn.
That's
Oh my god, dark shit.
How, like,
they say that exact thing in The Social Dilemma, but they use like this psychology term about it, and it has to do with slot machines, where like you keep pulling the lever of the slot machine, like you're refreshing your feed, and it's giving you this like feedback loop in your brain.
yeah, I think it just speaks to like how perfectly tailored their algorithms are. Like they have us down to a T. They know exactly what you want. Like if I were to pick up Sophie's phone, I doubt I would be so captivated, and vice versa. But like it's scary how well they know us.
No, it's funny too because I will be watching TV like on whether it's my computer or my TV, and like I can't even stay watching that. So like I'll be looking at my regular size screen, and then I'll take my little screen and like be on that at the same time. Like I can't even watch a 20-minute episode of Schitt's Creek anymore without feeling the need. And even if it's just like picking up my phone, looking at it like this main screen, and then putting it down, it's like a reflex at this point. Like I just need to look at it.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
feel
bad.
like I always have to be like doing something else while I'm watching TV. So like scrolling through Instagram or like scrolling through my texts. Like it doesn't even have to be anything actually important, but I'm just like not able to pay attention to the TV unless I'm actually not really paying attention.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain. Like I don't know why I'm doing it. Like my mom will be like, "Why are you on your phone right now? Like we're watching the show." And I'm like, "I don't know."
I
Or
don't know.
I'll be on TikTok and I'll be hysterically laughing, or I'll be like looking at videos of whatever it is. I'm addicted to TikTok. And she's like, "Why do you care about these people that you don't know?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like I have no idea why I'm obsessed with this woman's baby. Like I can't tell you. And I wish I wasn't, but this is just the problem of our generation at this point."
The thing about TikTok that really gets me is like when I'm scrolling and like something has just happened in my life and then something about that comes up and I'm like, how do you know that? Like, and it's the algorithm, but it's scary sometimes.
Right after I caught right after I caught the fish in Alaska, my TikTok feed was just like videos of people catching fish. And I'm like, I don't even like fishing. I don't know why it knows me too well. And it's all like women catching fish in Alaska too.
Yeah, that's a little
strange. That's like a little too close for comfort.
And then I started crocheting over quarantine, and then I got all these like crochet, like people hula hooping and crocheting. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, I was just wondering if it could hear me.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you were searching for it and they like have access to TikTok's policies and all that stuff. I'm not on TikTok, but like if they have access to your search, I don't know. That's weird.
No, yeah. The other day I saw a video on Twitter and I like watched the video and then I opened TikTok and like 4 TikToks in a row were about that specific video. And I was like, what?
That's what I'm curious about. I wonder if they have like access like across apps and stuff.
I don't know. Are you guys all comm majors? In intro to comm, we had to do that surveillance assignment. And that creeped me out a lot. They had pictures that I'd sent on Instagram DM from like 2012.
I know.
It's so creepy. And like, I don't really use Instagram DMs. Like, it's not like any of the pictures were relevant, but like some people probably do. And the fact that they have them and they keep them forever is so freaking scary to me.
Yeah.
And Snapchat has your latitude and longitude recorded at all times.
Yeah.
Like your literal location to it freaks me out so much.
And people are scared of the coronavirus vaccine having trackers in it by the government. I'm like, the government already knows where you are if you have a phone.
Yeah, so true. Wait, people actually think that there's like a government tracker in the back. What?
Yeah, they think Bill Gates is funding vaccine research so that he can put a microchip into all of us.
But he already has a microchip in all of us, but it's our device.
Wait.
Yeah. I don't think Bill Gates gives a shit what all of us are doing. That's the thing too. Like I am aware that they take all of my information, but for some reason I'm like, I don't really care. Like I'm so not like I'm so irrelevant, but like there's nothing about me that's a big enough deal that I'm like, oh no, like they're gonna know that I love watching videos of like babies, which is like weird. I think I literally want a child, but don't worry, I'm not going to have one. But like I don't think any of the things I do on the internet, most of them are stupid. Like whether it's on Instagram, just like sharing pictures with friends, or it's like on TikTok watching funny videos, like none of it is something that concerns me that much, which is I think also a problem that like I just don't even care that they're taking all of my information like that.
I have a question because you said like you're so like, did you use the word irrelevant? Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think you would feel the same way about, because there's things, okay. My question is, do you think you would feel the same way in 10 years or 20 years? Who knows what your career would be, or like the level of platform you have? Because there's things that like, just in DMs, there were memes and none of them were crazy, but it was just like, it's so different how our minds worked 10 years ago or 9 years ago. I wonder if, I mean, we've seen it in its worst forms, right? Like things come up to bite people in the butt many years later. Thankfully, I hope none of us have any of that, but like, it still is interesting for people because we started so young. Like a lot of the people who use social media, at least in the upper ages, like they were 20, 30 when it was introduced to them. So the amount that someone could possibly have access to is very limited. Like you've evolved from 20 to 50 or 20 to 40, but you still had logic. We were introduced to social media at like 10, 11. So just the evolution of that, like I'm almost 20 now. That's a little bit crazy. Like there's I guess a footprint you could say of who we were at almost every stage of development. And that's a little bit scary. Like even if it's nothing crazy, it's just like, it's weird.
No, I know what you're saying.
I think about that all the time. Like I feel like in our lifetime we'll have a president whose nudes will be leaked, because it's such a common thing now, to have nudes somewhere. But also thinking about baby pictures, because when we were babies, no one put us on social media because that didn't exist. But now people grow up and they'll be able to scroll back on their mom's Facebook to when they were a baby.
Yeah, like a day old, like the announcement.
Yeah. Oh, I have nothing that shows me as a baby that exists on the internet, really, or it's like I didn't exist as a baby. I just sort of appeared when I was 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of came up into the world. From what you guys were just saying, it's also like we started social media really young, but thinking about the kids who are in like fourth grade with iPhones, they grow up so fast. Like to think that there's kids on TikTok, for example, because TikTok is like, I know a lot of young kids are on the app. There can be like very like sexual or inappropriate content on there. And if you're that young and you're using it, you're going to be curious. And now like all the most popular creators are like 15 and they look, not only do they look so much older, but they act so much older. And so I feel like it's kind of like really detrimental to development in general, because people are starting social media so young and growing up so fast. Like at least for us, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really care about Instagram until probably like, I don't know, probably high school. Like it just wasn't that relevant to me. So I feel like I still got like all of elementary school was a regular childhood and most of middle school. But now there's kids that are in second grade and it's already so important to them. And I just feel like that's so sad to even think about.
An interesting point you raised is about how the popular creators are like 15, 16. And that makes me think like not only do they have access to this internet world, which we did, but like the people who have so much control and power in shaping how a younger upcoming generation thinks are children themselves. Like that makes me curious about that impact because we haven't seen the ramifications of that yet. Like there's some people and their parents like only have so much control. If we were 9, 10 right now, that would probably be the same. And like there's nothing our parents can do about it. We're kind of being raised by the internet, other famous kids. Like that's interesting. I'll say interesting.
Yeah, and even if a parent would want to control something, like once you post something, it's too late. Like you can delete it. But like this is the biggest lesson. Oh my gosh, my mom will reiterate this to me all the time. Like you can never delete something and think it's really gone. Yeah. Which is like something that I've always known. So I've always been pretty careful with social media. But like, for example, Charlie D'Amelio is 16 and she's the most popular person on this app. And she made one little mistake. I think she was having dinner cooked for her and she asked for dino nuggets. I personally don't think it's a big deal to want chicken nuggets. I love chicken nuggets. And she was getting death threats. People were telling her to kill herself over what? Over wanting chicken nuggets for dinner. I mean, it's just crazy because people are so young. And like, sure, that's, I guess, insensitive to the chef, but it's not something worth such horrible things to be said to you. I feel like they're not being allowed room for mistakes. And like, there's a difference between something like that and something that's actually offensive, or someone does something offensive or says something offensive. I think no matter what age you're at, there should be repercussions for that. But for such a small thing to be 16 years old, like, you don't know how to be perfect. No one knows how to be perfect. I just think that it's so scary thinking about people are so young and they're getting exposed to such like harsh humans. Like, hate on the internet is so real. And like, to be 15 and being told to kill yourself over nothing, like, I don't know. I can't imagine how I would deal with that. I think it's amazing that they all do.
Yeah, I can't imagine like being 16 and like having every single move I made like be like scrutinized and criticized. Like, I remember when Charlie, like on social media and like, or in like the background of somebody's videos, and she was like vaping or something, and then like a ton of people were like freaking out about it. Like, yeah, she's 16, she shouldn't be vaping, but like, teenagers do stuff that they're not supposed to all the time. Like, she's not required to be perfect just because she's famous, but like, I understand that there is that expectation that since she is a role model, she shouldn't be doing those things. But then think about like our like celebrity role models growing up. Like, a lot of them did fucked up shit too, and like, it was like less of a big deal just because they were a more traditional kind of celebrity and they were kind of expected to like go crazy.
People are so sensitive these days, in my opinion, to things like that. Like, there are things that should be taken sensitively, but things like that, like a 16-year-old hitting a vape, I just think that's not a big enough deal to be blown so out of proportion.
I think though, I mean, and just play devil's advocate, there is, and I don't think obviously the internet shouldn't raise children, but I think back to the original question that I asked was like, what are the implications that we haven't really fully thought through, I guess, at least not me personally, of being the role models of younger children. And then it goes back to like what you were saying, Sophie, about how your like Instagram algorithm knows you to like a T, and we're so infatuated with it, we can't get off. These children are consuming these children. We sound like old people, but like
we're like 3 years older than them, and we're like these little kids.
These children. No, but I'm talking about the really little ones, right? So like, yes, on one hand, like someone like Charlie, and I'm not familiar with her, like I don't know the situations, but it's like they shouldn't get that much slack because they're children, you know, that much flack because they're children. But at the same time, like, it is a scary idea to think so many younger children look up to them. And what does that mean? Does that become their responsibility? No. But does it mean that it's really a little bit more nuanced in saying it's so simple that like they shouldn't get any backlash for it, because it's like they are influencing a whole generation. It's unfortunate that it works that way, but like they are.
No, you're so right. I also, that kind of makes me think of, do you guys remember when Sasha Obama was caught like smoking a joint?
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect example of like, I totally understand what you're saying, but for her, she never asked to be famous. She never chose that life. And I mean, obviously, Charli D'Amelio, I don't think she expected to get as famous as she did so fast. I mean, in like a year, she has 100 million followers. I think that it's so hard when either A, you don't want that life, you don't choose that life, or B, it happens so quickly, you don't know how to adjust to it. And then all of the sudden, every single thing you're doing is being scrutinized, as Gabby was saying. I do agree with you that they are influencing people, but I just can't imagine to have to be so perfect so quickly, going from a 15-year-old girl in high school to being the most influential person on an app for young kids. It just seems scary.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird we put people on a pedestal in general, especially celebritizing anyone, even if they are really cool. I don't think anyone should be a celebrity to the point where they're idolized and you don't see them as a person anymore. Because I always see those sort of tabloid ads where it's like, oh, celebrities doing normal people things. Like, of course they're normal people. We just have this idea in our head of them being gods. And I feel like we're always looking for something to worship. And there are a lot of people that you can worship in that way. But I feel like if I was to be a celebrity, I'd really want to be a niche celebrity and be able to control the community. And that way I could walk around and no one would know who I am. But deep inside, I know that I'm famous to like people who play croquet or something. And then you can really decide who gets to see you as famous and who gets to put you on a pedestal. And sometimes I make celebrities in my head. Like there's this one guy who walks by my house who's always wearing a pajama robe and slippers, and he always has huge headphones on. And I call him Pajama Man, and he is such a celebrity to me. But it's just really weird how we put people on a pedestal and expect them to be a god when they're just like a 15-year-old kid or a guy wearing pajamas.
No, that reminds me of when I was little. My mom used to read People magazine religiously, and I would always look at it after her because I've always been very interested in pop culture and everything. And I remember going to the celebs, they're just like us pages, and thinking it was, even when I was like 8, I remember I was looking at it and I was like, this is so stupid. It would literally be like, they go grocery shopping. And I'm like, what do you think they don't eat? Like, what do you think goes on? They go out to restaurants every meal of their life. Like, it's just so, and I understand that like pop culture magazines and news outlets, etc., like sometimes they're bored. Sometimes they have nothing to talk about. But I do think it's like, come on, like how special can one person really be? They might be a great actor, a great singer, a great actress, etc., but that doesn't mean that they do basic human tasks. Like just because they have this great skill that has made them as famous as they are, it doesn't mean that omits them from being human. Like I feel like so often they get dehumanized in the media just because they're famous or they were in this movie or they released this song, when I mean, I can't imagine like being scared to leave my house knowing that people are going to follow me around with cameras just to watch my every move. Like even if you're a super fan, I just can't imagine caring that much. Like, oh my God, my favorite celebrity went to Whole Foods today. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Have you guys ever met someone you really looked up to and realized that they weren't what you had in your mind and it was kind of disappointing?
So I haven't had that experience, but my family friend interned at the Today Show. And I mean, Kevin James is probably never going to listen to this podcast. I'm sorry, Lou. But Kevin James is like hilarious. We see him in like all these movies and he's like the funny guy, the stupid guy, the clumsy guy, etc. And you'd expect him, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would expect him to be like a really nice guy because he's funny and whatever. And she said that when she was there, he was a guest one day. He was like so rude. And like to me, that was just like, for some reason, it was so sad. I don't know why. It like really upset me because I was like, I see this guy in Grown Ups. I've seen him in all these like hilarious things. And he seems like just like a chill person. But because of putting them on a pedestal, like you were talking about, Jillian, like they get huge heads. And like, I get it. He's a great actor, blah, blah. He deserves to like understand that about himself, but it still doesn't give anyone the right to be an asshole to other people just because they're good at something.
Yeah, I actually had a similar experience to that. So one time I was like at this like little country mart type place near my house, and I was with my friend who is a Grey's Anatomy like super fan, like obsessed, loves it. And we saw Ellen Pompeo at the country mart, and like she was like, oh, like I want to go up to her and like get a picture and say hi. And I was like, I don't know, like I feel like we shouldn't bother her, like whatever. And then she was like, no, I'm just gonna do it. Like we went up to her and she was just like so rude. And like, yeah, I get it, because you don't want people randomly coming up to you and like interrupting your day when you're just trying to like buy a book at a bookstore or like something like that. But I know my friend was like really upset by it because she like loves Ellen and like loves Grey's Anatomy and was just so disappointed. But like, they're people too. They don't want random people coming up to them in the middle of the street. It's like hard.
Yeah, I think it's also difficult. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, because like at the same time, they kind of did choose to like go into a industry where their time is like kind of like expected by their fans, and like they know that going into it. So like they shouldn't be surprised when that happens. But also like I do get that that's like not something you would want to happen.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, I get that it's probably frustrating, but I also think that if you're going to be on Grey's Anatomy, which is like arguably one of the most popular drama shows ever. I haven't watched it, but I know everyone's obsessed with it. You have to know that people are going to come up to you. Like if you're going to accept that lifestyle, you have to accept what comes with it. Like Millie Bobby Brown the other day was crying on probably, I think it was Instagram, about how a girl asked if she could take a video of her. And Millie said, and they were at a supermarket. They weren't at like a private place. And Millie was saying no. And first of all, like, I mean, anyone can technically just like pull out their phone and take a video at a grocery store. Like you can't not let her. But then Millie Bobby Brown was hysterically crying, saying, and then she took a video of me anyway, and I'm a human. And it's like, I get that that's probably frustrating, but at the same time, like, you signed up for this when you became a super famous actress. Like, you can't not let people take a video from with their own phone in public at a public place just because you're not in the mood. Like, I know that sounds rude, but if you're going to be a celebrity and you're going to be famous and all this stuff, you have to accept the fact that people are going to want to take pictures of you. And I know that that's probably a shitty lifestyle in my opinion. I would never want to be famous, but I think that if you're going to be, like, you can't get mad that people want to talk to you or take a picture of you. It just doesn't seem like it makes much sense.
Also with like acting versus like TikTok, like you could just be like living your life randomly on TikTok and like blow up and like not expect it. But when you go into acting, the goal is to be famous, right? So that you make a lot of money. So like they can't say like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. Like I didn't want this. Like, no, that's the goal. You want to be recognized, so you get cast.
Someone goes into the acting world and they're like, okay, I really don't want to be famous. Like, what?
Yeah.
Your life is being on a big screen. Like, that's literally what you do. No, I completely agree with you.
I'm a little bit conflicted about that one because it's like they're people, you know, and like I do say like there's pros and cons of any job, and then when we accept a job, we accept the cons that come with it. And if we can't, then we don't choose that job. But also, like, their job isn't on the street. And that's a new thought that I've just had, like, in this conversation. Like, their job isn't when they're at the grocery store. Maybe their job is like when they're on a press tour and people are like gawking at them and like following them after an interview, right? Like, you accept this is a part of the game. But I don't know, like, they do still, like, day to day, morning to night, I don't know if they belong to the public. But yeah, it's a complicated little situation there.
No, that's a great point. I didn't really think about it that way. You are right. Like, their job isn't to talk to fans on the street when they're living their daily lives. I don't know. It is so hard.
It is
and
hard.
Also, we won't really be able to speak on it unless we experience it ourselves. Like, I'm sure that if I was Millie Bobby Brown and someone was asking to take a video of me, I'd be like, fuck off. Like, I'd be pissed too. But then I'm over here like, oh my God, that was so rude of her. Like, I don't know what it's like. I would probably be just as pissed as she was. It's just, and it's so funny how long we can just talk about them too. Like, we're not even realizing it, but we're basically putting them all on pedestals right now, just even like talking about them like this. Like, it is crazy how like there's just people that are just so significant for what? Just like for a talent. Like, everyone's talented at something. It just might not be something that gets your name out there.
I know so many people who should be famous or are way cooler than famous people, and no one knows about them. But I think it's a very beautiful and raw thing. Like, I have a friend who makes the most incredible music, and he doesn't even put it out on Spotify or Apple Music or anything. It's on like weird Bandcamp websites, and he just sends files to friends, and it makes me cry. It's the most beautiful music I've ever heard. And he's like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want anyone to hear it. It's just me expressing myself. And for some reason, that is just better to me than any music that I can find on the internet or anything that gets a lot of listens on Spotify.
I think that like makes sense because like there's like a sort of like a purity to something when people are doing something just because they're passionate about it and not like expecting to be recognized for it or like even wanting to be recognized for it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Imagine just being like a great singer and being like, I don't really want people to know. If I was a good singer, I would make sure that every single person I ever met was aware of it. I would literally like sing when I was introducing myself to people just so that they could hear my voice. That's like one of the one things I've always wished is that I was a good singer.
I think
it's
I'm
a common one.
Not being a good singer, because if I did, I would like no one would like Sophie. No one would stop me, and it would get really annoying. And I think I'd lose friends.
Oh, I would 100% lose friends. I would never shut up about it. Or being a good dancer.
You can't just break out dancing anywhere though. It's not the same. I don't think
that's true.
Very normal.
I wish I was a good dancer is what I mean.
That's
true.
It's a little weirder.
Just a little dance to introduce myself.
Now I'm like thinking about myself doing it.
I feel like if we like were good at like singing, we might not be like as into it as if like, you know, like it always like seems like cooler when you actually can't do something. I don't know. I think that's just my opinion, but I also knew plenty of people who were like good at singing and they would always sing and then people got really annoyed and they stopped because they realized that it was annoying. Like stop singing randomly, not like stop singing, like stop singing during
was so
class.
upset for them for a second.
No.
Just killed their whole passion.
We didn't crush their dreams. We just told them that maybe they shouldn't be singing in the computer lab in the middle of class.
Got it. That's fair. That's a fair.
That's very fair. No, that is true. There will be the people that are like really good singers and they'll just like randomly do it so that someone will compliment them. And then it's like no one says anything and they're like looking around and they like sing again. It's like, great job. No, shut up. Like, I get it.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn how to make a bibliography right now. Can you let me listen?
Oh my gosh. We've been talking for so long.
We have almost an hour.
I feel like there's more to roast about Lou.
Should we just do like a really quick like session of it? What's the term for like
fire round?
Yeah. Because you guys definitely had to have prepared a few roasts.
I was just going to say that Lou Diamond just feels like a porn star name.
I thought that was so funny when you said that.
Because like when I saw his name when he was speaking in one of our classes, I'm like, people's parents don't decide that your name is Lou Diamond. That's a name you do in showbiz, but like a very specific kind of showbiz. And then my mind went there. But I feel like it has a mystique to it, I guess.
Well, there's also the basic ones, like he's bald.
It must be so freeing. Sometimes I want to be bald.
I think my head
Probably
would get cold in the winter.
I would be cold, yeah. If you guys haven't noticed, I touch my hair like every 5 seconds. Like when this video gets played back, it'll probably like make me cringe to watch it. But like I always just need to like run my fingers through my hair. It's like really annoying, but it's like a habit.
If you're bald, you rub your head, maybe?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
You just rub her head randomly. That'd be a little
What's up? Yeah, one other thing that you can definitely roast him about is his like weird Peloton obsession. Like on the Instagram stories, it's like all the time. Like just finished a Peloton ride. It's like, okay. And don't want to go too hard. He's still kind of, boss, whatever. Okay, we should end this episode the same way he ends his.
What was the last thing we talked about? Is it gonna abruptly go from us saying like we're gonna be talking about children and TikTok and then celebrities and then roasting Lou and then it's like be brief, be bright, be gone.
No, it's okay. Maybe we'll keep this whole like really messy part in of us trying to figure out how to do the outro.
All right.
Okay. It's be brief, be bright, be gone. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Just remember.
Be brief.
Be bright.
Be gone.
Goodbye, everybody.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Head on over to Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe and listen to all of our incredible episodes. Follow Lou at Thrive Loud everywhere on social media, and head on over to thriveloud.com to connect directly to Lou and learn how you and your business can thrive loud too. Thanks for listening.